The glass of ice-cold Coca-Cola flew through the air in slow motion. Dark liquid splashed across the pristine white business suit of Dr. Zara Williams as she stood in the marble lobby of Meridian Healthcare Group. For a moment, time seemed frozen. The sticky liquid dripped from her $800 silk blouse onto the polished floor. Her leather briefcase, containing the quarterly reports that would determine the future of this $2.8 billion hospital network, was soaked. "Oops," sneered Marcus Rodriguez, the facilities manager, as he set down his empty cup with theatrical satisfaction. "Maybe next time you'll think twice before trying to sneak into places you don't belong." Freeze frame on Zara's composed face. What Marcus didn't know, what nobody in that lobby knew, was that he had just humiliated the new CEO of Meridian Healthcare Group, the woman who, in exactly 47 minutes, would be announced as the youngest African-American chief executive in the company's 67-year history. Scene continues with real-time action. 8 hours earlier, Zara Williams had been in her penthouse apartment overlooking Lake Michigan, reviewing the final details of her transition plan. At 34, the Harvard Medical School graduate and former McKinsey consultant had spent the last 3 months in secret negotiations with Meridian's board of directors. The previous CEO had resigned amid a massive embezzlement scandal. The company's stock had plummeted 34%. Patient satisfaction scores were at an all-time low. Regulatory fines were mounting daily. Meridian needed more than leadership. They needed a miracle. Zara was that miracle. Her track record was flawless. She had transformed 3 failing hospital systems, increased efficiency by an average of 67%, and reduced mortality rates across all departments. More importantly, she had done it while maintaining the highest employee satisfaction ratings in the healthcare industry. But today wasn't about her credentials. Today was about making an entrance. The board meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. The formal announcement would follow at 2:15. Zara had specifically requested to arrive unannounced, wanting to observe the company culture before everyone knew who she was. She chose her outfit carefully, a crisp white Armani suit, understated gold jewelry, and her grandmother's pearl earrings for luck. Her natural hair was styled in an elegant updo that conveyed both professionalism and confidence. Cut to lobby scene. At 1:13 p.m., Zara walked through the revolving glass doors of Meridian's headquarters. The lobby was a testament to corporate excess. Italian marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and original artwork that probably cost more than most people's annual salaries. She approached the reception desk where a young Latina woman named Sophia was typing furiously. "Good afternoon," Zara said warmly. "I'm here for the 2 o'clock board meeting." Sophia looked up, then quickly looked down at her computer screen. Her expression shifted from professional courtesy to barely concealed skepticism. "Name?" Sophia asked, not making eye contact. "Dr. Zara Williams." Sophia's fingers clicked across her keyboard. "I don't see you on the list. Could you check with executive assistant?" There might have been a last-minute addition. "Ma'am," Sophia's tone grew colder, "I handle all board meeting logistics. If you're not on my list, you don't belong here. Enter Marcus Rodriguez." That's when Marcus Rodriguez appeared, as if summoned by the tension. At 42, he'd worked at Meridian for 8 years, climbing from janitor to facilities manager through what he called common sense and street smarts. He took pride in keeping undesirables out of the executive floors. Marcus was the kind of man who judged people in the first 3 seconds and rarely changed his mind. He saw an impeccably dressed black woman claiming to belong in a board meeting, and his assumptions kicked into overdrive. "Problem here, Sophia?" Marcus asked, deliberately positioning himself between Zara and the elevator bank. "This lady claims she's supposed to be in the board meeting, but she's not on the list," Sophia replied, grateful for backup. Marcus studied Zara with obvious disdain. His eyes traveled from her Louboutin heels to her designer handbag, and his expression grew more skeptical by the second. "Let me guess," he said, crossing his arms. "You're here about the cleaning contract." Administrative assistant position, kitchen staff. The racist assumptions hung in the air like toxic fumes. Several employees in the lobby stopped their conversations, sensing drama brewing. Actually, Zara replied calmly, "I'm here for the board meeting. If you could just call upstairs." "Lady, I don't know what game you're trying to play, but it ends now." Marcus stepped closer, his voice rising. "This is a legitimate business, not some place you can walk into pretending to be something you're not." Zara maintained her composure, but her jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. She'd faced discrimination before, but never this blatant, this public, this humiliating. "Sir, I understand there might be some confusion, but if you'll just—" "No confusion here," Marcus interrupted. "I see exactly what's happening. You probably saw our building on the news, figured we had money problems, thought you could waltz in here with some kind of scam." A small crowd had gathered, employees emerging from the cafeteria, visitors waiting for appointments, security guards drawn by Marcus's raised voice. All eyes were on the impeccably dressed black woman being publicly challenged by the angry Latino manager. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a senior physician, approached the scene. She recognized quality when she saw it. Zara's suit alone cost more than most people made in a month, but the social dynamics were all wrong. In her experience, people who belonged in board meetings didn't get questioned at reception desks. "Is there a problem here?" Dr. Walsh asked, positioning herself beside Marcus in an unconscious show of solidarity. "Just removing someone who doesn't belong," Marcus replied, puffing up with reinforcement. Zara pulled out her phone to call the CEO's office, but Marcus snatched it from her hands. "Oh no, you don't," probably calling your accomplices. He held the phone above his head like a trophy. "Sophia, call security, real security, not the rent-a-cops." That's when Marcus made his fatal mistake. He'd been holding a large Coca-Cola, half-finished from lunch. As Zara reached for her phone, he deliberately tipped it forward, pouring the entire contents over her head and shoulders. The cold liquid soaked through her silk blouse instantly. Ice cubes bounced off her chest onto the marble floor. Her carefully styled hair was ruined. Drops of soda splattered onto her leather briefcase, the briefcase containing confidential strategic plans for Meridian's future. The lobby fell completely silent. For a moment that felt like eternity, nobody moved. The only sound was cola dripping onto Italian marble. Zara stood perfectly still. No screaming, no crying, no dramatic reaction. Just deadly calm as brown liquid dripped from her natural hair onto her designer heels. She reached into her purse, slowly, deliberately, and pulled out her phone. Marcus had grabbed the wrong device. She had two phones, personal and business. "Excuse me," she said quietly, wiping soda from her face with a tissue. Her voice was so calm it was terrifying. "I need to make a call." She dialed a number from memory. The call connected immediately. Boardroom came a crisp voice. "Patricia, this is Zara. I'm running a few minutes late. Please tell the board I'll be up shortly." Even from 6 feet away, people could hear the assistant's relieved response, "Dr. Williams." Thank goodness. Chairman Foster was getting worried. "Should I send security down to escort you?" "That won't be necessary," Zara replied, her eyes never leaving Marcus's face. "I think I can find my way." The color drained from Marcus's face. Dr. Walsh took a step backward. Sophia's mouth fell open. The small crowd of onlookers suddenly realized they were witnessing something historic. Marcus tried to recover. Anyone can pretend to be. "Patricia," Zara continued into the phone, "please also ask HR to prepare termination paperwork for Marcus Rodriguez, facilities manager. Effective immediately." The phone was loud enough for everyone to hear Patricia's response. "Of course, Dr. Williams, shall I call legal as well?" "That would be appropriate," Zara replied. "Also, please have someone bring me a towel and a fresh shirt, medium, preferably white." She hung up and finally looked directly at Marcus, who appeared to be having difficulty breathing. Mr. Rodriguez, she said quietly, you've just assaulted the new CEO of Meridian Healthcare Group in front of witnesses, while I was carrying confidential company documents. The elevator chimed and 3 people emerged: Patricia Morrison, the executive assistant, David Chen, head of security, and James Foster, chairman of the board. Foster, a distinguished man in his 60s, surveyed the scene with the practiced eye of someone who'd spent 40 years in corporate leadership. He took in Zara's soda-soaked appearance, the gathered crowd, and Marcus's panicked expression. Dr. Williams, Foster said warmly, extending his hand. I'm terribly sorry about this delay. The board is ready for your presentation. Marcus's legs nearly gave out. This wasn't just any executive. This was the chairman of the board, treating the woman he'd just humiliated like she owned the place because she was about to. Mr. Foster, Zara replied, shaking his hand calmly. I apologize for my appearance. There was a small incident with building security. Foster's eyes hardened as he turned to David Chen. What kind of incident? David, who had been reviewing security footage on his tablet during the elevator ride, cleared his throat. Sir, it appears Mr. Rodriguez deliberately poured a beverage on Dr. Williams while she was attempting to access the building for the board meeting. He did what? Foster's voice could have frozen hellfire. Patricia stepped forward with a garment bag. Dr. Williams, I brought several shirt options and a blazer. The executive washroom is just around the corner. Thank you, Patricia. I'll be just a moment. Zara took the bag and walked toward the washroom, her heels clicking authoritatively on the marble floor. The moment she was out of earshot, Foster turned to Marcus with the fury of a man protecting a multi-billion-dollar investment. Rodriguez, you poured soda on our new CEO, on the woman who's about to save this company, on someone who could sue us into bankruptcy before her first board meeting even starts. Marcus tried to speak, but only strangled sounds emerged. Dr. Walsh, realizing her error, attempted damage control. Mr. Foster, I had no idea she was. Dr. Walsh, you stood by and watched. You participated in this harassment. Foster was beyond angry. He was calculating lawsuit settlements in real time. Sophia, the receptionist, found her voice. Sir, she wasn't on the guest list. I followed protocol. Protocol? Foster's eyebrows shot up. Your protocol was to deny access to the CEO, the woman whose appointment was classified at the highest level for security reasons. The implications were sinking in. This wasn't just a case of mistaken identity. This was systematic discrimination captured in real time with witnesses in the lobby of a publicly traded company. Zara emerged from the washroom. She'd changed into a crisp white shirt and navy blazer. Her hair was still damp, but she'd restyled it into a professional chignon. She looked every inch the CEO she was about to become. Feeling better? Foster asked. Much. Thank you. She turned to address the crowd that had gathered. I know this situation is unusual, but I want everyone to hear this directly from me. More employees had emerged from elevators and stairwells, drawn by the commotion. Word was spreading through the building that something major was happening in the lobby. My name is Dr. Zara Williams. At 2:15 today, I will be announced as the new Chief Executive Officer of Meridian Healthcare Group. Her voice carried across the silent lobby. I had hoped to spend my first day learning about our culture and meeting our team members as colleagues. She gestured to her damp hair. Instead, I've learned that we have serious problems with bias, discrimination, and basic human respect. Problems that will be addressed immediately. Marcus made one last desperate attempt. Ma'am, I was just doing my job. Your job, Zara interrupted, was to ensure building security, not to make racist assumptions about who belongs here. Your job was to verify credentials, not to assault visitors. Your job was to represent this company with professionalism, not to humiliate people based on their appearance. Each word landed like a physical blow. Marcus visibly shrank with every sentence. Foster stepped forward to address the crowd. As of this moment, Marcus Rodriguez is terminated for cause. No severance, no references, immediate removal from the premises. Security guards who had been Marcus's subordinates just minutes earlier now moved to escort him out. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Dr. Walsh, Foster continued, "You're suspended pending a full investigation into your role in this incident." "But I didn't do anything," Dr. Walsh protested. "Exactly," Zara said quietly. "You did nothing while watching discrimination occur. In healthcare, doing nothing while harm occurs is malpractice." Sophia, the receptionist, was visibly shaking. "Am I fired too?" Zara studied her for a moment. "Sophia, you followed what you thought was protocol. But tell me, when someone claims to have legitimate business here, what should your first step be?" "Verify with the appropriate department," Sophia whispered. "And did you do that?" "No, ma'am. I made assumptions." "Everyone makes mistakes," Zara said, her tone softening slightly. "The question is what we learn from them. You're not fired, but you will attend sensitivity training, and your supervisor will review proper verification procedures with you." Foster pulled out his phone. "I'm calling an emergency executive meeting for 2:30. This incident will be investigated thoroughly and will implement immediate policy changes." Patricia appeared with her tablet. "Dr. Williams, the board is ready to officially begin your tenure. Shall I announce a brief delay?" "No," Zara replied. "We'll proceed on schedule." This situation has actually provided valuable insight into the challenges we face. As the group moved toward the elevators, Zara turned back to address the assembled employees one more time. "I want everyone to understand something. What happened here today wasn't just about me. It was about assumptions, stereotypes, and the courage to speak up when something is wrong. Going forward, every employee of this company will be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their race, position, or appearance." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Meridian Healthcare Group is about healing. We can't heal others if we're perpetuating harm within our own walls." That changes today. Elevator doors closed. Marcus Rodriguez walked across the parking lot carrying a small cardboard box with his personal items. His 8-year career at Meridian had ended in 8 minutes. His racist assumptions had cost him his job, his reputation, and his future in the healthcare industry. Word was already spreading through social media. Employees who had witnessed the incident were sharing their accounts online. #Meridian CEO was beginning to trend. Marcus sat in his car, staring at the building where he'd felt so important just an hour ago. His phone buzzed with a text from his wife. "How was your day, honey?" He couldn't even begin to answer. The board meeting was unlike any in Meridian's history. Zara presented her strategic plan while still smelling faintly of Coca-Cola, but her vision for the company's future was crystal clear. "We're not just fixing financial problems," she told the 12 board members. "We're rebuilding culture." What happened downstairs wasn't an isolated incident. It was a symptom of deeper issues. She clicked through her presentation slides, revealing months of research into Meridian's workplace culture. Employee satisfaction scores among minority staff, 2.8 out of 10. Turnover rate for employees of color, 67% higher than company average. Patient complaints about cultural insensitivity, up 45% in the past year. Board member Elizabeth Morrison leaned forward. "Zara, what are you proposing?" "Complete cultural overhaul. Mandatory bias training for all staff. Anonymous reporting systems, diverse hiring initiatives. Zero tolerance for discrimination at any level. The costs," began CFO Robert Kim. "The costs of not changing are higher," Zara interrupted. "Discrimination lawsuits, regulatory investigations, damaged reputation, employee turnover, we're hemorrhaging money and talent." Foster nodded approvingly. "What's your timeline?" 90 days for policy implementation. 180 days for measurable cultural change. 1 year for complete transformation, cut to 6 months later. Meridian Healthcare Group's headquarters lobby looked completely different. The same Italian marble and crystal chandeliers remained, but the energy was transformed. Diverse faces filled every level of the organization, chart displayed prominently near the entrance. Sofia Martinez, she'd gotten married and taken her husband's name, now served as Director of Guest Relations. Her experience with the Zara Williams incident had motivated her to pursue additional training in hospitality and conflict resolution. She'd personally implemented the new visitor verification system that ensured no one would ever again be turned away based on assumptions. Dr. Jennifer Walsh had completed her suspension and extensive sensitivity training. She now led Meridian's Diversity and Inclusion Committee, using her experience to educate other physicians about unconscious bias. The changes weren't just cosmetic. Patient satisfaction scores had reached all-time highs. Employee turnover dropped by 43%. Stock prices recovered and exceeded pre-scandal levels. Most importantly, 3 major medical journals had featured Meridian as a case study in organizational transformation, bringing prestige and top-tier talent to the hospital network. Zara Williams stood in the same spot where she'd been humiliated 6 months earlier, but now she was addressing 200 employees at Meridian's first annual Diversity and Excellence Awards ceremony. "Change doesn't happen because of one incident," she said, looking out at faces that reflected every background and culture. "It happens because people choose to do better every single day." Behind her, a large screen displayed Marcus Rodriguez's LinkedIn profile. He was now working part-time at a small clinic in another state, his career permanently derailed by 8 minutes of poor judgment. "Everyone deserves the opportunity to walk through our doors and be treated with dignity. Everyone deserves to be judged by their character and qualifications, not by stereotypes and assumptions." The audience erupted in applause. Doctors, nurses, administrators, cafeteria workers, and security guards all unified in their commitment to the transformation Zara had initiated. 6 months ago, someone poured soda on me in this very spot because they couldn't imagine a black woman belonging in a board meeting. Today, we have black department heads, Latino executives, Asian specialists, and leaders from every background represented in our organization. She smiled, remembering that terrifying moment when cold Coca-Cola had soaked through her white suit. Sometimes the most humiliating moments become the catalyst for the most meaningful change. Today, Meridian doesn't just heal patients, we heal communities, and we heal each other. The story of one woman's dignity in the face of discrimination became a blueprint for transformation that extended far beyond one company's walls. Sometimes justice isn't just about punishment, it's about creating a world where the next person doesn't have to endure what you did. Final message: have you witnessed workplace discrimination? Share your story. Your voice creates change. Subscribe for more stories of dignity, respect, and the power of standing up for what's right.